Okay, so today I really want to talk about the importance of continuous self-improvement. A lot of people hit adulthood and just decide that they're done. They don't have to learn more. They made it through university, they're good. Or they're married, they're good. They don't have to work on themselves anymore. They don't have to keep the dating scene open. They don't have to do any of these things. But none of that's true. We are human beings and we are lifelong learners. And so when we allow ourselves that curiosity and space to learn and grow, we continue to better ourselves and better our relationships and better our lives. And the more you grow, the more you can attract into your life, which is such a blessing. So let's talk a little bit about the fact that you can, as an adult, even without going to university again or college again or taking a legitimate, in a classroom setting class, you can learn forever. You can read books, you can listen to podcasts, you can take little mini courses. Udemy has lots of great classes, Coursera, Gaia TV has a bunch. There are so many options, and that means that any topic you want to learn more about, you have access to it. We live in the information age, and sometimes that is not great for us, and sometimes that is the best thing. So if you are curious about something, give yourself room to be curious. Give yourself room to follow that. Give yourself that space. So if that's any inspiration to you at all, I would highly recommend going and researching the next type of class you want to take or the next book you want to read. Is there a book club you could join? Is there a friend you can talk about this with? What does that look like for you? If you're interested in yoga, is there a class you can take? Do you want to become a teacher? Do you want to go to an ashram? What is it that you want from that curiosity and passion, and then take that step forward? Do it for yourself, okay? So reading. I love reading. It's actually a vice, I think. It's a problem. And I have probably 3 to 5 books on the go at all times, but they're all different. And that's why they're all on the go at the same time. I have personal development going. I have a manifestation book going. I have a for fun book. I call them candy reads going. And I find that really important. I have inspirational books going. I have fully educational. I have a herbal textbook. I have a human design textbook. All of them are on the go because those are my interests right now. And that is what I'm working on right now. So the fact that I can feed myself that passion and that curiosity and that information, it just helps me to grow, and it helps me to live in that curious and excited and exploratory space. So that continuous growth. And I like to dedicate probably at least 30 minutes a day. And again, it can be a problem. So I have to allot time, and I have to set a timer sometimes to get myself to stop reading because it's really easy for me to get fully absorbed. When you're thinking of growth, do you also think of, and self-development, do you also think of networking or mentorship or coaching? Because those are spaces that hold so much growth for us and so much space for us to walk into and accept, right? If you are learning from the people who have what you want, you can get to the point where you have what you want, right? So giving yourself a chance to connect with other people. Do you network? Do you go to dinners that maybe you don't really know a lot of people at, and you're forced to talk to people outside of your normal group, your normal comfort zone, your normal colleagues? What does that look like for you? Do you ever seize that opportunity? And then what about LinkedIn? What about social media? We all have it. I'm using it right now. Do you actually use social media to be social? Do you use social media to learn? Do you follow people who actually bring something of value and benefit into your life? Because if you don't, unfollow everyone. Don't follow any people if they don't inspire you. It's the same as your home should not contain anything that you do not know you use or you do not find to be beautiful. Same thing with any social space. If it is not bringing value to your life by beauty or tools or support, it is not worth having around. Go through your follow list and delete everyone that doesn't do those things for you. And then replace them with people who do. Replace them with people who inspire you to learn, grow, be curious, work out, be healthy, choose things for your future instead of your past. And then feedback. You're not in school anymore. No one's marking your tests. How do you get feedback? How do you know that you are actually still growing? What does that look like for you? Do you have a mentor you can ask for feedback from? Do you give yourself feedback? I love doing a 90-day gains journal. So I have an alert set in my notifications in my phone that every 90 days, it reminds me to go back and look at how far I've come. What books did I read? What accomplishments did I achieve? What friends did I see? What projects in my home did I complete? What did I harvest from my garden? What new tea formulas did I come up with? What water ionizers did I sell? What did I do? How far did I come? And can I assess that also within myself? How many times did I keep my temper? How many times did I regulate my nervous system well? How many times did I put into actions the things that I read about? Because that's a sign of growth, right? And then how do you adapt to change? We naturally, as human beings, are typically afraid of change. It is unsafe. Our nervous system says, that's scary, I don't want to do that. Oh, that's new, I don't want that. And that's not a good thing, because when you stay within that comfort zone, you can't grow, right? It's a cliche already. People talk about it all the time. So if you stay in that comfort zone and you never invest in yourself, you never invest in learning more, you never choose to push that boundary of your comfort zone, or even just step over that line and say, ooh, I'm really scared of talking to people I don't know, but I'm going to go to this networking event because I really want to share this masterclass I'm going to be hosting. And I need to actually tell people about it for people to show up, right? So if you want some inspiration, Brené Brown has a talk called The Power of Vulnerability, and it's really inspiring and helps you to embrace change. I would highly recommend going to look that up. So if you are on this growth journey or healing journey, or even just journey to be a better human in general, more adapted, more stable, more balanced, more, pick any word you want to put there, do you set goals? And how do you set goals? There's a book called The 12-Week Year, and I love it. It is fantastic, and I'm giving a masterclass on that in the near future. And it is about breaking down your long-term goals into specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound objectives. So you are setting a goal that you can look at. You can say day to day the actions you need to take to make that happen. And then you get to watch it happen. It's quite simple when you put it that way, right? And then you need to be able to be inspired by the goals you're aiming for. So a vision board or a vision movie is a really powerful resource because it gives you that visual. It gives you that daily inspiration to actually keep moving forward. What are you going to do if you don't see the end goal? right? If your goal is to make this many sales so that you can pay for this holiday and you lose sight of that, why are you making those sales? What is the point, right? We need that end goal to strive for. So having a big, beautiful picture of it somewhere that you see it every day, or a little post-it note that you wrote your little wish on and you look at it when you're brushing your teeth, those are really supportive of you seeing that goal so that each of those little steps leading up to that goal feel worth doing. Journaling. This one has been hit and miss for me through my life. I started journaling very young. I got a little fuzzy yellow diary when I was a kid, and I started writing my thoughts in it. And then that was scary because I was scared someone would see my thoughts. And that was really scary because I didn't even know if I wanted to see my thoughts. So journaling has been a very in-depth process for me, and it has come and gone when I've needed it. And that's the way I like it to go. I like using prompts when I'm going through something so that I can work through it and I can make my way beyond that issue or that challenge that I'm facing. And then I like to journal, and I love to write my gratitudes down. So those are two separate journals. I have a little gratitude journal, and then I have my I'm thinking big thoughts and feelings journal. And I like that. But if you feel like you need accountability, and that's something that journaling gives you, what a great tool. And if you need a journal that has prompts in it, you can find any. You can find any subject too. If you are working through trauma, there are literally journals that are full of prompts that will support you through your trauma. I wrote 12 weeks worth of journal prompts to just reflect on self. And I give that to coaching clients or business partners when they are looking for extra support. So if you want that, feel free to leave me journal prompts and I will send that your way. What about a mission statement? What would that do in supporting you in your growth journey, in your development, in your self-awareness, in your goal setting? What if you had a beautiful mission statement that said what your life's mission was? Or even your this year's mission was? What if you have two? What if you have one for this year and one for your whole life? And then every year you create a new one. And then you can look at your life goal and you can make your new mission statement fit that life goal. What if that makes sense for you? So is that a tool that you would want to use? Because if it is, you're going to read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because that will support you in creating that mission statement and guide to decision making. How about accountability partners? I have several and I love them all, and they all teach me different things. So I have a group, there are 6 of us, and then another group, there are 3 of us. And I've had a few others through the years, and they've come and gone as I've needed. And I actually just started a new one for social media and content and sharing value and supporting each other through doing that. So do you have accountability? I love having people to talk to and to bounce ideas off of and to support through their own challenges, because it shows me what maybe I might be facing next if they're on the next stage of their journey beyond me. Or maybe I've just gone through something and I can help them with some type of reflection or some type of statement or comment or help in any way that will get them to their next level, right? So I love to share my weekly goals with my accountability partners, buddies, groups, whatever you want to call them. And I like to see what theirs are, because then I can say, ooh, I should add that to my goal list. Or, oh, I haven't seen them work on this. Maybe I'm going to ask them about it, because maybe either they're done that and they don't need to go there, or maybe they need the support to even think about moving to that next step. So it's that constant awareness and accountability for yourself, but then also for the people that you are accountable with. And it's not about punishment. There's no, like, you failed. You have to leave this group. That's not the sensation. That's not the feeling. That's not the energy in these groups. It's how can we support each other in this journey? And how can we use that support to keep ourselves in the journey? So then, what about reflection? Talked about 90-day gains. I talked about journaling. I talked a little bit about accountability buddies, groups, partners. What about looking at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats? What if you would look at each of your strengths and write them down? Would that help you to use them better? How about your weaknesses? What if you look at your weaknesses and you look at how you can learn from them, or what your next stage of development should be? What if my weakness is that I really don't know a lot about branding, and that's what's missing in my business? So then what can I do, right? Instead of being like, I'm really not very good at this, what if instead I said, I'm not good at this, and that is my prompt to join this masterclass, or take this class, or have this book, and take your pick. What is the resource you can then use to support that weakness? What about your opportunities? When you get that gut feeling that you're like, ooh, I should do that, do you listen to it? How about if you get an invitation to something and you're like, ooh, I'm not sure. I don't think I can. Or what if you're like, this is the most amazing opportunity, and by doing this, I'm going to open these 3 doors. Isn't that an amazing thing to look at? But if you're never reflecting, maybe you won't even see those doors. Maybe you won't even understand that those would be important for you to open. And then threats. What are the threats? So what are your vices? Do you doom scroll? Do you get trapped in books like I do? Do you procrastinate? What is threatening your development, your growth, your awareness? And then what can you do about it? Again, what can you learn? How can you support that? Do you need to go to therapy? Do you just need to bring it up to your accountability partner? How about your partner? How about your friends? Right? What does that look like for you? Regular check-ins. I have a notifications list in my iPhone, and every single day I have a list of things that regenerates, repopulates, and every single day I like to check off those little circles because it makes me feel satisfied. And when I get to the end of the day and I look at my list and it's empty, it is so rewarding. So that is, for me, all I need. A little checklist. Maybe you need more. Maybe you need a celebration. Maybe after each of those completed tasks, you get to, take a sip of kombucha. Something I treat myself with. What if you get to go sit in the sun after you complete 5 of them? What if you get to go for lunch with your friend at the end of the week if your list is empty? What can you give yourself as a gift to keep yourself on task? What can you give yourself, right? And then at the end of the week, or the beginning of the week, I don't know what you count Sunday as, on every Sunday, time block my calendar. And that is another way that I stay accountable. I look at my week, I make my weekly meal plan, I make my grocery list, I time block every single day of my week so that I use my time well. And then I can look at each day and see if I am staying in my time blocks. Did I complete this task? And if I finish it early, that's free time. That's not move on to the next thing on my list time. That's free time because that is my prize and I love it. And do you know what I do with that free time? I read a candy book or I'll make myself a really delicious tea. Or I will literally lie on the floor and do no things And that feels amazing. Sometimes I put on dance music and just reset. And I dance my butt off as hard as I can until my next time black starts. So that is another way that I keep myself accountable. And then at the end of the week, I can look at my week and say, I did this. Great work. And then I can look at my next week and say, I am totally capable of doing this too. Mindfulness practices is the next thing. And I love all mindfulness practices. I have to choose how many I put in my day. One of them is literally a little reminder in my Save Notifications Reminders app, because it is to keep my heart open and keep moving through things instead of storing them in my body. Can I keep my heart soft? That's a huge one. The other one I have in there is, do I check in with myself and remember that I am observing my thoughts? I am not my thoughts. Because often we'll get stuck in that constant swirling, twirling monkey brain. And it's like ping-ponging or a giant vortex, and it's so exhausting. So if you can say, you know what, I'm actually going to remove myself. I'm the observer. I am not my thoughts. That is a huge part of my mindfulness. My other practices are to wake up and do a meditation every morning. And I love that. Some people use Headspace, some people use Calm, some people use Insight Timer. I've tried all of them. Insight Timer is my current favorite. I really love it. And there are so many different meditations, lengths of meditations, options to choose from, and it is incredibly supportive of mental health. I also have a yoga practice and a body and movement practice, so working out in any way. And then I have a breath work practice that I really love. I have Breath of Fire every morning to really bring life to my body. And then I have a slow breathing practice to wake up my spine, wake up my lungs, wake up my whole body, and just bring more fresh oxygen into my being so that I can run at a more efficient rate. Feedback. This one is always tricky because feedback often feels like it's negative. And if you're asking for feedback, usually people are better at softening how they speak and softening what they're saying and choosing more supportive wording instead of that negative feedback that feels like it's judging or blaming. So a really good habit to get into is to ask for feedback before someone decides to give you feedback, because they're usually going to wait until they're annoyed, resentful, angry, right? So in your work, in your relationships, in your friend groups, ask for feedback. Do you need my help? Do you need my support? Could I be a more supportive friend? Could I do my job better? Is there something missing that you would like me to work on? Right? You can ask for feedback and then someone's going to say, you know what, actually, you've been doing a really great job. Or, I've actually noticed that you've been slacking on this. Could you put a little more effort into that? Right? Their feedback is going to be a lot more kind and supportive if you've asked for it, because they're not already tipped over that edge. Goal alignment. Back to that yearly or lifelong manifesto. Pick your word. Do your daily actions align with your goals? If they do not, you need to stop doing them. It's very simple. If you are trying to lose weight and every single day you go get something that is not supportive of your health, everyone has their own vice, you need to not choose it. And I know that's really hard. And that's why people keep doing it. Smoking, drinking too much, drugs, over-exercising, controlling your eating, right? There are a lot of things that people have in their lives that are really hard to stop. But if you start seeing yourself as someone of a different identity, those will not have the same power over you. If you say, I'm a really healthy person and I love to make choices that support my health, it's going to be harder to see yourself buying that whole box of donuts for yourself, right? Because it doesn't match the identity you're talking to yourself about. If you say, you know what, I'm not a smoker. And the next time you think about picking up a cigarette, you're like, no, but I'm not a smoker, right? There is that connection to identity. So make sure that your daily actions align with the identity you want to have, and then stand in it. Be that person right now. Don't wait until a year from now when you've struggled and done all these things to try to get there. No, be the person now. You have to think like a millionaire before you're going to make $1 million. You have to live like a millionaire in your mind, your body, your choices before you will be a millionaire. It's the same as a non-smoker. It's the same as a fit, healthy person. It's the same as, and pick whatever you want, right? So if you have a setback, what does that do for you? It's really hard. You didn't achieve your goal, or maybe you were way further back than that. Maybe you lost a bunch of steps. What can you do to reframe that and create resilience instead of just sitting in that hard, dark place, or frustration or anger, or pick whatever emotion arises for you? So it's important to learn from your mistakes and move forward. Think of every mistake as a chance to grow, and view all of your challenges as opportunities to learn and develop. Celebrate your small wins by writing down your gratitudes. Have a little journal. Acknowledge and celebrate every single win. It is so important. Make sure you can adapt if things don't go your way, and start to have a support network around you, your accountability partners, your mentor, your friends, your family. It's important to have that. So I'm going to leave you on a few resources and recommended readings. I would recommend the Adult Chair podcast, the Ed Milet Show, We Can Do Hard Things. I have a whole list. I'll leave them in the notes. And then I would love for you also to inspire yourself with TED Talks. And if there's an online course you're looking for, just reach out for it. There's a whole website dedicated to masterclasses. You can go there. There are so many books. I will also leave a list of books so that you can choose from them as well. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you think this